What's up, guys? Bonafide Hustler here.
Raking Profit.
Retro aficionado.
And Pete, Craigslist Hunter.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Green Room Hangout number 25, where today we're going to be talking to the Craigslist Hunter himself. I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas, and I flip stuff I find from garage sales, estate sales, yard sales, flea markets, swap meets, pawn shops, and I put it on places like eBay, Amazon, Antique Booth, Craigslist, and consignment stores in town. That's what I do. I'll toss it over to Rake and Profit.
Thanks, my man. What's going on? My name's Steve, Rake and Profit. I'm primarily selling on Amazon FBA right now, traveling the country. I went from the East Coast to the West Coast, which they say is the best coast. I don't know about that, but I'm in California right now. Just hit a thrift store. Had to rush back for the show, but I'm telling you, we have no better guest than Craigslist Hunter, so thanks for coming on, Pete. With that being said, I'm going to pass it off to Young. Sing your song.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Young, and I have to say the West Coast is the best coast. But I do sell on Amazon FBA, eBay, let's see, Antique Booth, Craigslist. I do it all.
Okay, let's get to our guest. Pete, who are you and how can people find you?
Hey guys, thank you for having me on. Well, I'm Pete and I go by Craigslist Hunter. That's where you can find me on YouTube and Facebook. I also one of the admins at the Reseller Society Facebook group, so you can find me there as well. And what I do, I flip anything I can make a buck on.
Okay, cool. Do you happen by chance to be like a Bond villain as well? Do you do the voices for some of the James Bond villains? You kind of sound like a Bond villain, dude.
Really? Okay, that's the first one. Never heard that before.
No, I'm telling you, it's like, do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. That's like you sound kind of like that. Anyway.
What is that?
That was in Goldfinger, by the way. Okay, so that is Craigslist Hunter, and today he has come here for an hour, and we can actually speak about he's going to speak about his business, and we can ask him questions live. Now, this is the thing, guys. If you're watching right now live, look to this way, okay? And if you look that way, there should be a comment feed that is going on right now. You're catching this live, and this is the time when you can get your questions asked to Craigslist Hunter Pete himself. We'll get right into the interview, the grilling session, man. And we had kind of a funny thing right before this show started. Craigslist Hunter said, every time you say Green Room, I'm going to say the Resale Society a little bit louder or something like that, which is kind of funny. But this show is not about us. This is about him. And anyway, he's a really cool guy in the short amount of time that I've spent with him. Okay, so let's talk. Let's take it to the very beginning, Pete. And this might be something hard to remember, so think. What was your first ever flip? Like, what got you started?
Oh, my first ever flip? Ford 1977 Ford Maverick.
Nice.
Oh, his first flip was a car. That's awesome.
So
Okay.
yeah, I bought it off my buddy, not paying cash. I traded for electric guitar and an amp, and had that car for about a week, and I flipped it.
Nice.
So that was my first sale, and this was probably back in '86 or '87.
Wow. So was that first flip kind of crucial into starting like the snowball effect into where you have progressed to now, or was that first flip just a kind of a fluke moment, then you took some years off and then you started flipping again?
Yeah, I definitely took some time off in between. It really didn't get serious till about early '90s, mid '90s, when I started really looking into it. When the internet popped up on us, that was end of the story right there. You know, mid '90s. I mean, '96, '97, when first Craigslist came out, that's when I started making my first like big hustle.
Wait, so you're telling me the internet wasn't always around? It's like a lot of us folks, you know, in our generation, it's like we can't even imagine life before the internet. And you said you were hustling before the internet. Was that a different ball game?
And well, like I said, I mean, I really didn't focus till really internet started. But listen, I was in this. You know, I mean, many of you guys know me that, you know, I'm not originally from here. I'm from Poland, right? I came to States when I was like 13 years old. That's why I'll probably never get rid of my accent, which is cool. It's all right. But my grandfather used to run flea markets. Back in the day, back home, when we still had, Cold War bullshit going on, it was a communist country and it was all black market. I mean, not a flea market. This is a black market we are talking about. So that's where I had my first really, really taste of it. I mean, he was doing this for years and years and years. And when you are 7, 8 years old and your grandpa takes you to a market like that, you remember for the rest of your life.
So that was your grandpa. Okay. So then you kind of, so when you got back into the 90s with Craigslist, see, when I got started, it was like classifieds, and people were starting to talk about Craigslist somewhere in that like '01, '02 range here in college when I was going to UT, or after UT. Now you're saying Craigslist started before that in the late 90s? Was Craigslist?
Late 90s, correct.
Okay. Did you ever hustle before that? And if you did hustle, was it just like flea market stuff, or was it classifieds? How did you ever hustle before Craigslist, or did you start with Craigslist only?
I pretty much started with the Craigslist and of course, when eBay first came out as well. I mean, this was the first thing too. Back in '97, I think it was '97 or '98 when I had my first account on eBay. That's when my eyes just open up. Okay, there's huge potential here. Now the whole world can see what I got. What kind of crap I can sell them.
That's cool. So I guess I could positively infer that that's what started you in the business, was the fact that there was an opportunity with the internet, with Craigslist, and with eBay, right?
Absolutely,
Cool.
absolutely. I mean, it's huge and it's exploded and it's non-stop right now. I mean, it's just evolved over the years, so big, so many different platforms, and I think there's more platforms to come. Some gonna go, some gonna explode. There's gonna be something new. I'm pretty confident there's gonna be something huge.
There always is, yeah.
I was wondering, Pete, what are you, for the people watching right now, and I'm even curious, like where exactly are you selling? Like I know a few of the locations and what you're up to, but for the people watching, like where are you selling and what's your time really being focused on nowadays?
Well, you guys know that I, recently opened up my second retail location. I mean, I had my shop for, quite a few years now, and finally decided to open up a second location. So we do quite a bit of retail, stuff that comes into the shop. We are buy, sell, and trade shop. So we don't do loans, so it's not like a pawn shop. But pretty much anything that walks off the street, if we can make a buck on it, we'll go after it, and I would say 50% of that stuff is resale in a store and 50% online. So
Wow.
it gives me a little comfort, when the bigger items come in, heavier items that are harder to ship, that I got that ability to put them out in my shop and sell them there and move them locally. That's where Craigslist comes in to play big time, or OfferUp. I mean, I use those two platforms every single day. So, and then everything else, smaller or something that can potentially generate more money online than in the shop, I'll push it online, either eBay or Amazon.
Okay. So what is well, I hear some echoes now. That's not good. Okay. What is Young? Is that you?
Why are you always blaming me? I don't get it.
It could be. I don't. One of us. Okay. What is like when you talk about these large items that are in your store? You use OfferUp or Craigslist. Give us like 3 examples of what these large items could be.
Well, for example, we just sold two snowmobiles. This is something obviously, that it's hard to do if you want to do it online, meaning, on eBay. I mean, you can still do probably local pickup and stuff, but definitely something like that, it's easy to push locally. So when Craigslist and OfferUp comes in to play big time, because the local audience, that's what they search.
Okay, so like things like pool tables, things like that too, maybe?
Pool tables, food tables, slot machines. I mean, you name it, I got it.
Cool. That's awesome, man.
Wow.
Okay, so let's talk about your business now. Your business now is with its second store in Chicago, right? Is this the town that you are working in?
Correct. Well, the first store is about 45 minutes northwest. That's my main location. That's the big store. That's in Crystal Lake, Illinois. And the second location we open up right in the city, right off Harlem Avenue, busy area of town. Lot smaller store. I mean, the store that I operate in Crystal Lake, it's 10,000 square feet. The store that I open up in Chicago is only 1,500 square feet. So, you know, big difference. So the merchandise that I have there is definitely lots more. And, you know, there's only so much space that I can fill up, and so I concentrate on items that I know that they're good sellers, and fill up that place with that kind of merchandise. Now, mainly, the main reason I have these shops, and I'm planning to open some more too, is for the merchandise to come in to me. Okay, so I don't have to hustle as much out there on the street to get the stuff. It just comes into me. That's the whole idea behind it.
Let's dive a little more into that, because I think that's very intriguing that you opened up, you know, not only one shop but two shops. I don't know anybody else within our reselling community who's done that. Let's talk a little bit about like managing that, because you know, if you got two locations, obviously you could only be in one place. Do you have family or trusted friends, or did you hire someone who worked at your first place? You did a great job and now you made him the manager. If you don't mind sharing, like how do you, because I know it's a different beast managing physical businesses. Could you share a little bit about that for people maybe who are thinking about it?
Sure. I mean, I do have a business partner. His name is Adrian. We've been partners for, gosh, as long as I can remember. We're probably going on 15 years or so. So we started the business together. I mean, we were in a different business before, which I just recently sold. So it's a little bit easier having two of us, to run two different shops. But obviously, yeah, I do have employees. I do have a manager in each store. It takes a lot of work and finding the right people. That's maybe, well, I wouldn't say the secret of success of running a shop, but it's crucial, extremely important to find the right people. And I've been very, very fortunate that I do have. I mean, I went through quite a few employees, but the ones that I have right now, I'm super excited who works for me. So
the ones that you found, I mean, you say it as if it took a while to find them. What do you find is the hardest part of dealing with, a different person, right? Like, what is the hardest part? What made other people fail, and what made these two succeed so well? Like, what are the characteristics you're looking for in your managers that some of the other people just didn't have?
The main thing is probably the trust, and the second thing, that they really see the vision that you have, and they're happy to be a part of it. That's the biggest success of it. Trust is crucial, because the business this particular business requires a lot of trust, because there's a lot of money involved, meaning going back and forth. There's a lot of cash deals that are happening. We are paying out on daily basis, so it's pretty crucial to have trustworthy people working for you. Everything else, kind of, far as teaching how to be in that business, you can teach people. You can spend time and you can show them the ropes and show them how it's done. But gaining the trust and them willing to follow you the way you are having your vision, that's crucial. Be on board with you. They know exactly what we are expecting out of them and what's our vision, and follow those steps. That's the main thing.
Hey, Craig, so I'm guessing your primary reason for having employees in these shops is to man the shop. Now, are you also training them to list on eBay and Amazon, or is that something you're doing yourself?
No, we have right now employees doing that for us as well. Because there's only so many hours in a day. You can only do so much, man. It's almost impossible. And that's one big thing that I learned over the last few years, that you can't micromanage anymore. You know, you gotta give away things, and you gotta trust people, and you just gotta show them how to do it, and you know, and they gotta follow the procedure, and things start running, you know, smoothly. I have to concentrate on what I am the best myself. If I'm weaker at something, it's I'm pushing that on somebody else. If somebody can do this better than I do, then you know, more power to them, because just like I said, there's just enough, so many hours in a day. You got to sleep sometimes too. I work like a horse, don't get me wrong. I mean, I work nonstop, but still, you know, it's just, you got to have some time for yourself too.
Is there anything that you would say that you are the best at, and there's no one you could really hire to do? Like, is there one bottleneck to the business that like you have to do it? Like, there's something that like you can't really replace if you had to think of maybe a trade or a job or something along those lines?
um, I don't think anybody can make a deal as good of a deal I can make. Uh, but that's just experience, I think. You know, over the years, you learn, and you know, the biggest thing is for me, after probably talking to you for 2, 3 minutes, I will know if I make a deal with you or not. Me kind of reading you and realizing, are we going to make a deal here or not, you know, or how much room there is in a deal, you know. That's what I learned over the years, really, really good, and that's what I strive on it. I mean, I know almost immediately if we're going to have a deal or not.
And you've actually
Oops, there
the
goes
GoPro. Do you have a do you have
Never
a,
mind. Steve,
We lost you.
do you have the GoPro? Keep going. I'm sorry. Keep going.
All right. I guess I want to echo on Steve's question, but okay, so you said that no one can make a deal like you can. You can read people pretty early. Do you ever have the kind of deal that makes you uncomfortable to where you're like, I can make a ton on this, but this could also tie up a whole lot of money for like a month or two? Like, do you ever have those kind of crazy deals come around? They're once in a lifetime kind of things, and you and Adrian have to get together to decide whether to come together on this deal or not? Do you ever have those big ones come through?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like for example, right now, we just made a deal a couple days ago. Two motorcycles, two Harley Davidsons came in. And, you know, we had to really, really think about it. Do we want to tie up so much money into those? Because they're going to sit for next 4 or 5 months before we can move them in this area, you know? I mean, it's like nobody's looking at motorcycles right now. It's in the middle of winter. It's minus 25, or whatever, 25 degrees out there. But it's a great deal. So after debating probably for about an hour back and forth with Adrian, we talked the guy into it that he wasn't so desperate for money. So we didn't want to lose a deal, so we brought those bikes inside and put them on a consignment.
So that's a good way to get a piece of the money, right? Just not lose the whole thing, right?
Well, it's exactly. I mean, we would make a lot more if we would just buy them out, you know,
Right.
No question about it. But at the same time, you know, one bike, it was almost brand new, 1 year old. You know, it's a $15,000 bike. The second one was 2003. It's still like a $6,000 bike. Do I want to tie up all of a sudden, you know, 10 to 12 grand in those two bikes for next 4 or 5 months, which I could use this money potentially into something else that I'll do the flips, you know, nonstop. So it's a big decision sometimes to tie up that kind of money, and we decided, yeah, let's take them on a consignment. That way we're gonna make less, but we still gonna make something, and it looks good in a shop at the same time.
And you still have your money in your pocket.
Yeah,
Right?
and didn't cost me a penny.
That's awesome, man. So we were talking about those Harleys being a wintertime kind of thing that no one wants, right? Although people say the time to buy motorcycles or boats, for example, wintertime, right? When they're not being used, that's when people get desperate and they got to start making their tax payments, you know, whatever. But what's the flip side of that? Like, what's something that's really good when it turns, you know, in these 20 degrees or teens in Chicago? What is the kind of item that you start looking for in this time? Is it snowblowers? Is it like, what do you look for? Like, what sells really well out of, let's say, the big shop up in, is it Crystal? What is it? What Falls? Crystal Lake?
Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake, and then what's the other one? Like, I know if if one's in Harlem and one's in Crystal Lake, then the one in Harlem probably has different items than the one in Crystal Lake, right? Significantly different items because it's being bought by a totally different crowd, right?
It's correct, although, like, for example, the electronics will be the same, the gaming consoles. We sell, believe it or not, ton of knives in both shops. Knives are a huge seller. But for example, I will not sell. Maybe I will have one or two snow blowers at the Harlem location because there's just no room. But I will have probably 30 of them in my shop in Crystal Lake. And when you mentioned earlier, during the summer, we would buy these snow blowers like there's no tomorrow because people are willing to sell them cheap, right? Because nobody's using them. People are moving constantly, especially people that are moving to warmer climates. They want to get rid of that stuff. So we would buy all spring, summer, all the way to the winter, all these snow blowers and just stack them, stack them, stack them. Now when the winter is here, and every time we get a couple inches of snow, it's flying out the door.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
So, for example, I'm looking right now for riding lawn mowers in the winter too, or stuff that I'd be able to flip in about 4 months from now. So it's just a constant game. But like you said, yeah, there's certain things that I'm willing to tie up some money if I know for the fact, even though that it might take me a lot longer to sell, I will buy, like I bought this crazy deal, 600 boxes of olive oil, for example,
Wow.
You would think, what the hell am I going to do with it? Well, everybody's using it, right? It's going to take me a while to sell it, but it's selling. I'm selling it at one store, second store, and I'm selling them online as well, So, but it's a big chunk of money to invest when you're buying 600 boxes. Each box has 6 bottles, and on average, their retail is about $8 a bottle, So.
Where did you get all this olive oil from? Was it a restaurant that went out of business or something?
No, this was actually, and this is where it comes to play again, having your contacts with a lot of different people. I deal with few different insurance adjusters, and what happens is, this was in my local area here. One of the grocery stores had a leak in a roof in their warehouse in the back. And water started pouring in, and a couple pallets on top got damaged, but everything else didn't. But insurance, hey, might be health issue. You got to get rid of it. So my insurance guy calls me up and says, "Hey, Pete, you got a few pallets of oil here. Are you interested?" That's how it works.
That has to be the most odd hustle I've ever seen. I mean, I know what you're thinking in your head. It's just such a weird item, I guess, to be offered, I guess.
Yeah. Or, for example, like buying, 3,000 pairs of scissors.
Whoa.
Yeah, man, scissors with FBA, man, that would go so fast during the school year.
So, but these are all loose, like,
Oh,
no packaging, no nothing, I'm still selling them like crazy on eBay.
That's cool, man. Well, that's good. Hopefully, Raken's internet is back to normal here. Maybe. Okay. So let me ask you this next question right here. Now that you have 2 stores, right? How's the okay? You work to the bone, right? How much time do you have with family? I've watched some of your YouTube channel. I mean, your YouTube videos. Seems like your life's pretty good. But how much time do you get with your family after all this is said and done?
It's a tricky question to answer, and the reason I say that, because I've been with my wife for over 20 years, and she knows me for a long time, what kind of person I am, and she knows the hustle that I enjoy and I do, and and from the moment that we got married, she knew what she was getting into. So it's that understanding of each other, and the passion that I have overall for this game. So, but we make it work. We do make it work. I got 2 daughters, both in college right now. So right now, I actually got a little bit quiet in my house because they're both in college. but I'll make sure I always have time available for my family, no matter what. If there's a vacation or a party or whatever we're planning, I'll make myself available. I might be hustling for a couple days straight like a maniac, and then when the time comes to spend with the family, I'm available.
Okay.
We've got a question in the comments. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Cool. I'm working off that hotel internet. We got a really good question. Hopefully you guys didn't answer this already because my internet's been choppy, but it is, hey Pete, what advice would you give to yourself if you go back in time 20 years and talk to your young hustler self?
Oh, the biggest one I think I would give it to anybody is patience. Be patient. Nothing happens overnight. Don't be fooled that that you can make something happen overnight. It just doesn't happen. It's hard work and it pays off eventually. And a lot of people give up too early. They just give up. They grind it for a little bit and then they just say, hey, it's not working. Now, once again, too, not everybody can be in a hustle world. I always say, to everybody that it's just like a restaurant business. Only 1 out of 10 makes it, and it's hard, but it's patience. One advice that I can give anybody, it's patience.
How do you be patient when nowadays everybody's moving so fast, technology, everybody wants it now, and how do you deal with it when like you're going for something and it's taking time? Maybe you're dealing with temporary defeat. I know a lot of people out there. There's challenges out there. How do you deal with that? Like, what are you thinking in your mind?
I mean, for everybody is different. It all depends, how flexible you are yourself, meaning, okay, how much time you can put into this business if you're trying to start, a hustle. Are you relying only on this income from the hustle, or you have something, in savings, or you're working a full-time job? I mean, if you take time and if you do things right, eventually things will start playing out for you. And I know it's with the internet era, everything. It's like you see like us being out there on the internet, and we show all these people stuff, and everybody gets anxious. They want to do the same thing tomorrow, and you got to realize that it doesn't happen that quick. It takes time, takes experience. The biggest thing is not even learning what to buy, is learning what not to buy, because that's how you learn. I mean, I bought so many things that I'm like, God damn it, why did I even spend $1 on this? It's like, so there's no great explanation how to be patient. You just got to take your time and learn.
Okay, and there's a fair amount of stuff out there to learn with too. I mean, we have free groups, paid groups, we have people making guides all over the place. There's all kinds of TV shows that are showing you guys like, what kind of sells out there for real. I mean, it could be American Pickers got me started in the picking of actual people's property and putting it in my antique booth. So I modeled exactly what they did and was able to attain somewhat of a success in my antique booth. Certainly not to the level that they have or what you have, but you're going to have to get your feet wet. You're going to have to make mistakes. I completely agree with what you say, but you should never think like I can just jump right into this right now. I can buy that Harley, or I can buy that old stamp machine, or I can buy this and it's going to make money regardless. Like you really have to. I think part of the game involves getting burned a couple times, right? Getting burned and not knowing exactly what not to do again. What would you say to that kind of a statement?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you learn. The best learning experiences is your own experience. To forget. You see all this fuss about it, all this buzz about reselling, eBay or Amazon. Start small. A lot of these guys are super experienced, and yes, there is potential. You can do huge numbers and you can be very successful, but it takes a little bit of time and money and budget and money that it's gonna be tied up for a while, you know, like we talked earlier. So, you know, and I know it's all exciting now, all these, you know, private labeling and, you know, all this arbitrage, and it's been around, you know, for a while now, but it takes time to figure out what really works and how much money you want to put in. It's all doable, but it's small steps. I mean, some people just jump in too quickly into it, they get burned, and, you know, it's just a reality of the business. Business is brutal.
Yeah, no, I agree. I want to take it back now to the your name, right? Craigslist Hunter, and we heard about that you dealt with Craigslist in the back. When I hear Craigslist Hunter, I'm thinking of someone that's hunting off of Craigslist and maybe selling at a store or selling on Craigslist. Where did your name come from? Or who coined you that? Or did you just sit there at a keyboard one day and you're like, I'm going to get on YouTube, I got to get myself a handle, I think this sounds good. Like, how did you come up with Craigslist Hunter?
You know what? It was kind of just one day. You know, since I've been dealing so much with Craigslist for many years, I probably bought and sold more things on Craigslist than any other platform. I really do. I mean, I made so many good deals and bad ones too. That one day I just said, you know, Craigslist fits perfectly, and I kind of catchy with the Hunter in the back of it, Craigslist Hunter. Although, excuse me, at the beginning I got a little bit. It fired back on me at the first few videos that I made, because a lot of people kind of made fun of me and associated with like a Craigslist killer thing, you know. But you know, I kind of stuck, and you know, I mean, I watched you guys for many years before I put out my channel. I followed, you know, most of you out there on YouTube when it was like, you know, nothing, nobody was putting out anything, and then, you know, finally, what made me really decide my channel was, I had few different offers in a shop from different networks to do some kind of show. And we even shot one episode, a pilot, with my local, actually, WTTW Channel 11 here in Chicago, a pilot which went nowhere because everything was so scripted by them. They wanted everything to be more, you know, kind of Hollywood, so it draws really people in, and me and Adrian, we really wanted to do something just real, just to show people how it is out there, you know, on the street and stuff like that. And it never took off. So that's what really got me thinking, maybe I should do my own show. And that's how I started. I started doing my own thing on YouTube, you know.
Yeah, so they wanted you to go a certain route, the Hollywood style, and you're getting the phone call for the olive oil, right? And they're just like, this is weird. No, I'm just kidding. Man, the olive oil thing, this has got to be the most interesting part of this hangout, is the fact that you pop all these cases of olive oil, man. Just amazing. Okay, so let's talk about, well, let's get into the questions and see if we can here's Mallow Jimmy from Houston, Texas. Can you recommend ways to become more efficient in finding good sourcing deals on Craigslist?
Well, first of all, I think you become good at Craigslist if you have few specific niches that you know a lot about. And I'm sure you can relate to that, you know, when it comes to like bicycles and stuff. You immediately, a lot of times people have no idea really what they have. They want to get rid of some stuff. And soon as you spot something, you know right away, oh, okay, this is a deal, okay? So be good at knowing your niche, what you are hunting for. And if you search Craigslist, you know, pretty much on daily basis, you're gonna find deals. You're gonna come across some deals. And another good part, when you're making actually a deal, don't be shy and spread the word that you're flipping stuff. You'll be amazed how quickly you can build a network when people find out what you are doing, and all of a sudden you're getting phone calls from a guy who you bought something 6 months ago. He's got something again to sell, or his brother wants to sell now something. I mean, that's a key of building that relationship over a period of time, and the phone is ringing nonstop. I mean, I use all the time, little ads on Craigslist that we look for certain stuff. That's a good way um, of getting people that really want to get rid of stuff, noticing those ads, and they calling you. You can always pick up stuff a lot cheaper that way because they're kind of desperate. They want to get rid of it. They need money, obviously. You put a call to action, they already picked up the phone, they're calling you. They want to sell you something. So you already got a deal right there. And we do probably 5, 6 different ads. We look for antiques or bikes or electronics or gaming consoles, and the phone is ringing.
That's interesting. I can remember back to like my first pick that I went, and I did get it off Craigslist, but I had to put an ad out, like you said. I did all that, and my very first pick I went to was at someone's land, and I described in the ad that I was a novice picker and all this stuff. And so, go out to someone's land, I did extremely well, all the way from like Harley Davidson bezels to old knives, old cap guns, old Lionel train things. Brought it home. I got a call midweek from the same guy, and he was like, "Hey, some medical bills came up. I got some more trailers on my property. You want to come check it out?" And you're right. I mean, if you tell people what you're in the game for, right, that you are and you have money and that you can offer it to them, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with how many times they actually will get back to you. So that's really good advice. Thank you for that.
It also works the opposite way, man. Like when you sell something on Craigslist, I had a lot of times where the customer would say, "Hey, if you have more of these, or if you come across more, call me."
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my whole base of clients that come to my shop was built strictly from Craigslist.
Mm-hmm.
I never advertise. I never do any heavy marketing on my shop. It's all driven from people that saw something on Craigslist, came into my shop to buy, for example, an iPhone, and they walked out with an iPhone and a bicycle or a snowblower, and that's how and if you treat them right and you give them a good deal, they're customer forever. There's nothing better than word to mouth later on spreading between people. I mean, that's...
No, you're right. We got a question from Scott McFarland. Says, does Pete actually search Craigslist, I guess manually, this is the inference here, or does he use one of the keyword notification apps?
You know what? I actually search Craigslist. And I know one of my managers in a store, he does have set up some certain keywords with notification that if something pops up, they'll look into it and they'll check it out. But I actually enjoy sitting in the morning with a cup of coffee for about an hour, search, stuff that I know a lot about, and just can skim it through really quick. And I can always, within an hour, I can pick a deal out there. Make few phone calls. But remember, Craigslist is one of those beasts that you're going to make, 15 phone calls and you're going to get 2 responses. That's how Craigslist works. People are lazy, they don't pay attention, or you get, an email from them 3 days later.
Yeah, but you're right. You have to make those attempts, 15. For me, I do email attempts, and so I do both ways. I do manually searching, and I also do the other way of searching, which is like keyword searching, like a notifier app thing. Mm-hmm. And I find that the notifier app thing helps a lot, but only if you're structured in your day to where you can look at it in the morning, in the lunchtime, and in the evening time. Other than that, some deals go by so fast that you have to be so quick on the keys to where there have been many. In fact, there have been times where I don't even lowball someone. I will just take it for market price, whatever they're asking for, because it's too good of a deal, right? Because I know I don't want to lose out to the email that says I'll buy it for face value, right? Because those emails go through to the people on Craigslist, and if you're trying to lowball or get some crazy deal out of it, I mean, if you're looking at the emails on the other side, you're going to pick the one that's going to say I'll buy it for full face value right now, right? If you think about it. Do you find yourself doing kind of stuff like that, like in the morning when you're drinking your coffee? Do you find yourself spotting a deal, and if it's too good of a deal, do you just say I'll take it right now? Have you ever said those kind of statements?
Yeah. I mean, if I see it right away that there's quite a bit of meat on a bone right there, I won't argue. I'll be like, I'll be there with cash in half an hour.
So, with your robe on and your coffee in your hand?
Got a cigar looking like Hugh Hefner.
You should put your business card on the olive oil thing, and then give olive oil to everyone that you come in contact with. I guarantee you nobody's going to forget who you are at that point, man.
Actually, that's a good point that you bring on, because I probably gave away right before Christmas, I'm not kidding you, probably about 40 cases. And this is to all my local guys that I deal with, or even post office. And guess what? I gave them 3 days before Christmas. There's especially two ladies that I really like at my local post office. And I brought them a case of that oil, and I said, just spread it between there's 6 bottles. You guys can take whatever. If you want to, give it to somebody else, that's fine. First week of January, I walk into the post office, and she says, Pete, when you drop your packages off, don't go, hold on, I got something for you. So I'm standing there for a few minutes. She goes into the back, comes back with 8 rolls of tape that it's been, discontinued, now for a while, right? And she says, somebody brought this to us that they don't use it anymore, and I took it from him because I knew you're gonna be in need for this. She
That's
just
awesome.
for this with this tape for me when I would show up just to give it to me. And it goes a long way when you treat people right. When you little things like that, it could change how your business operates.
Oh, I completely agree. And I put no, I'm not making fun of the olive oil thing whatsoever. I got to tell you, because a good olive oil is used in everything, right? But a good olive oil, I'm talking dipping bread in it, put some cracked pepper. I mean, it's real simple, but it's the subtle things in life that count a whole lot. That's right. Clayton Darby, right here in the feed just now, olive oil and bread. See what I'm saying? So, you're giving away these things that you got such a stellar deal on. I've done the same kind of thing with random stuff, but it works magnitudes to the people that receive it. They go, wow, this is nice. I haven't got olive oil from somebody, but they get fruitcake from this person. They get Starbucks gift card from that person. But you're the olive oil dude, man. That's pretty cool.
Olive oil, dude.
I like it.
Okay, so let's go into here we go. Here's a question that I wanted to ask you. What is your newest focus product now? What product you're kind of like, all right, I'm really good at that other stuff, but now I'm focusing on this. This excites me. I really want to learn more about this niche or genre or product itself. What would that product be?
I mean, I absolutely love. I mean, I do like all kinds of antiques, but I do like vintage signs. Which brings us back, of course, to the whole American pickers, thing. Getting dirty, going out there and finding the rare stuff. And I'm trying to learn more and more about it. That when I spot that sign, that I can tell right away roughly what is it going to be worth, what's the market right now, and stuff like that. Some of that stuff is not easy to move sometimes because you got to wait for the right buyer, obviously, to get the most money out of it. But this is something that really interests me. The vintage, the cool stuff. The automotive stuff as well. From that era of 50s. So that's something that I've been lately spending a lot of time trying to learn a lot about it. And it's just so much. I know I won't learn everything, but it excites me a lot.
Yeah, I've been in the same shoes as you, trying to. I've learned a fair amount about that kind of stuff. Only problem is when you do find it in the wild, it's either this is my experience. It's completely roached out, it's so bad to where market value is really poor on this, or it's in really good condition and the person knows exactly what they have and they're trying to get top dollar, and it's man. I was
Yeah.
I'm a picker, I'm a novice picker. I cannot be paying those prices. Or I'll see them at estate sales, and I'll be like, holy moly, maybe that'll be there at half off day on a Sunday, which it's never there. But how do you go about trying to find them? I know you're trying to learn about this kind of stuff, but what's your angle into getting your hands on this this merchandise and bringing it to your store? Where would you source it from?
Well, that's actually another beauty of owning a shop. So many people come in and they see certain things that I have in a shop, and they will tell me, hey, listen, I got this, this, and this I'm willing to sell, or my grandpa has this farm and he's got all kinds of stuff in there and we need to clean it up. Would you mind taking a trip out there and looking? And I just, I don't show the excitement, but I'm all over it. a lot of deals come because of the shop, you know.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, actually, quite a bit of deals I made because of the YouTube channel as well.
Oh
Like a
wow.
lot of people contact me and say, you know, hey, I have a deal on this, or I'm going to see this guy. Would you mind going with me? I'm sure there's, you know, different pickers just contact me and they say, hey, let's go, you know, why don't you come with me? I'm sure there's enough stuff for both of us to find there. I mean, I've been on
Hmm.
plenty deals like that, and just absolutely awesome. I mean, if it doesn't require me, you know, jumping on a plane and flying, but just driving a few hours, I'll definitely do a trip like that. And there's plenty of that kind of stuff around me where I'm located.
Cool.
I
Cool.
got a question from Who Did It 99. What is your negotiating technique for getting the best deal from someone you will never see again? So I don't know if the you will never see again part applies, but what's your best technique for negotiating?
See, I mean, here and there, yes, you're gonna have the deals that you're probably never gonna see a person again. But my whole idea is always actually to see him again. I mean, and you kind of try to treat them right. You don't want to overstep certain things because the repeat business in this business is huge. Uh, maybe not so much selling, but buying. You will have, you know, a lot more return-based customers that want to sell you than the ones that you will sell, especially like online. I mean, all of us sell online, and how much repeat business you get? Just a tiny bit percentage, right?
Right.
Hmm.
But when it comes to buying, if you treat people right and you pay them, you know, just enough so they're happy, it goes a long way. As far as like negotiating skill, um, you know what? Sometimes it's about not so much. A lot of times, you know, I mean, it is about the money. You know, you got to make it up on a deal, especially if you spend quite a bit of time, you know, making the deal happen. But I gotta always put it in the back of my mind that this is not my first and last deal. Okay, if there's just enough that I will profit out of this, I already spent the time to get there, negotiate. I'm buying it. You know, if it's only 20% margin, I'm buying it. If it's 1,000%, I'm buying it. I mean, it's if I'm already involved, and there's just enough meat on the bone, I'm making a deal. So it's not always about the money.
Okay. We have another question from National Treasure Trove saying, "Hey Pete, do you fix up items like electronics, or do you hire someone to fix them, or send them out to someone who can fix them?" And I guess this kind of pertains to maybe this Sansui, Marantz, old Macintosh kind of tube amp. Like, what do you do when you get something like that that you know is inherently valuable, but it's not working with a certain like button or flip switch or something?
Yeah, I mean, and I love dealing with stuff like that, especially when it comes to vintage electronics. But um, everything is pretty much outsourced. I will not fix anything in a shop unless it's just trying to clean up. Maybe I got one guy that works for me that maybe can do, you know, work on a lawnmower or snowblower because we need to clean a carburetor. But everything else, I got guys that I deal with, you know, for my guitars, amps. I probably got about 4 or 5 different guys that work on my guitars. If something is worth quite a bit of money and it's not all there or it's missing parts, I will send it out to them, and they treat me right as far as the price. You know, they know what business I'm in, so you know they're not gonna rape me. They know I need to make money on this, and if I send them enough business, they treat me right. So everything just outsource.
Right. Well,
Nice.
I know you started back in the '90s, and with this much proficiency now up to current day, surely there's got to be something that you're so proficient on that even hiring an expert out there, you're still going to do it faster and better than them. So if you were to ask me this question, I would say it would be bikes, right? I went right behind a counter on a pawn shop when Reagan was in town, and I fixed a bike for the pawn shop with like less than 5 minutes on just some random stuff that I was like, it ain't gonna sell in that condition. But hold on real quick, give me an Allen wrench and I'll fix some things. Now, what is that thing to you? Is there something out there that you know so much on that you're like, you know what, I know how to fix this. It takes 2 seconds. This is the back of your head. Is it like what fly fishing reels? Is it old antique banks? Like what do you know so much about that you can fix and no one else can do it better?
Well, if it's simple stuff, I mean, I love vintage electronics. Somebody brings me, 1987 turntable that, apparently the guys bought it and they say, hey, it turns on, but it doesn't spin, it doesn't work. I'm like, dude, it's just a belt that fell off. Open it up, put the belt on, and let's go, or order a new belt. Simple stuff like that. Right away, you can fix that in the house, or changing the needle, on a gramophone, or stuff like that. I love playing with things like that, but you always got to remember too, if it's simple, yeah, I'll play with it and fix it. But if it's something more complicated, it's just not worth my time. I'd rather get out there and make another deal, and I will enjoy doing that, and somebody else can fix that, broken knob or whatever it is. It's just,
Okay.
yeah.
What about something that's very common? I think a lot of the hustlers out there, through the YouTube videos and through people's channels, right? They know to look out for these old retro boomboxes, right? All right, so let's start right there. And I mean, I find them on a monthly basis, and I'm sure you find them in the store. I'm talking about the silver front-faced ones, the Lesonics, like the old Sharps, some of the JVC ones, the craziest, the stuff that Run DMC used to, have
Yep.
on his shoulder. Now, almost every time that you get one of these things, and by the way, none of these have CD players on them. Usually, if it's the real deal, it won't have a CD player. It'll have one crazy equalizer, right? That'll look like a heart rate monitor thing, and then it'll have either one or two tape decks, right? And these monstrosity of speakers that are just like crazy. But the tape deck never seems to work on these things. Now, do you notice that kind of same thing when you take in old boom boxes or old tape decks or something like that, that the tape deck doesn't work? And do you outsource that, or do you kind of know what goes wrong in that situation almost every time?
And it's funny when you say that. Usually, I mean, 80% of these suckers don't want to work.
I know, dude.
You will have your forward, reverse work, but you put the tape in and the play button, and it doesn't work. You know what? Depending how valuable is particular item, if I know that I got a good deal on it, and there's enough meat there on a bone that I can give it to my guy and tell him to fix it, replace it, do whatever, I'll definitely do that. If it's something simple, I will tingle with it myself. I'll try to figure out. I'll go on YouTube even and try to find some information. Because I just sometimes enjoy it. But like I said, I try really not to play with any of this stuff. And if my guy tells me, hey Pete, this is gonna cost you $150 to fix it, and the unit is worth 300, and I got 100 in it, well, guess what? This thing is going as is online. It's just simple as that, and move on. Go do another deal.
Right. Okay, we got a couple more questions coming from the feed, and I got a couple more to ask you here on my sheet. Raykin, what can the people do right here if they enjoy this episode?
Gosh, guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. We got like 250 people watching. That's pretty cool.
That's all you, man. That's all you.
Bringing in
Watch,
all the people.
We're about to make these people work right now. Watch.
Yeah,
Raykin,
hit the like button. I'm looking at the stats right now. We got 87 likes. Let's get up to 150 right now. Hit the like button. Show some love.
That's right. Now let's go right back into the questions, and this is a question I want to ask you. All right, it can be argued that brick and mortar may be a thing of the past, but you deal with collectibles and stuff, so do the same rules apply with you in your business?
I don't think it's a thing of the past. Still, a lot of people want to come in and touch the things, see it in person. And remember, people always, this business is never going to die. Meaning, when people want to sell you something and they need a quick buck. That's why pawn shop been in existence for hundreds of years. Not that I'm a pawn shop, meaning I do loans, but I have the same kind of principles, meaning people can come in and pretty much sell anything in my shop. And it doesn't matter really anymore what kind of neighborhood. Pawn shops used to be associated with really kind of stingy areas, crappy neighborhoods, right? Low income areas. Not true anymore. I mean, they're kind of everywhere, and people sell all kinds of stuff. I mean, just there's a pawn shop in Beverly Hills. So I don't think this kind of business and this kind of brick and mortar store is not going out of style anytime soon.
Okay. What is your greatest fear? Like, what are you fearful at night? It can be a business fear, or it could just be a fear of anything else, but like, what do you, what keeps your mind up at night that you're like, you know, this could be better. I don't want to be thinking about this, but you have to. Like, what's a fear of yours?
Um, the things that are happening lately, pretty much across, across the world, far as you never know what can happen from any given day, any moment. I always kind of fear of safety of my employees in a business that I'm in. That a lot of people know that we deal with a lot of cash, and you hear it every single day on the news that somebody's getting robbed at the gunpoint, and that's what scares me the most. The rest of the business doesn't scare me at all. Nothing. Money problems, whatever, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me that one day I'll get a phone call that somebody's robbing my place. So um, and then we had few break-ins to our place at night. Twice. One time actually the whole freaking police department showed up, 16 squad cars. I had 20 cops running around there with dogs because we had people inside actually when they showed up. But far as there was never really very close calls, meaning during the day, couple, some shady characters came in and they didn't they were not very friendly, but we do have protection in the store. All of us are actually carry weapons just for that reason, and everybody kind of knows in the area that we do, so we don't want to be the easy target. That's what fears me the most, really.
Okay. Is that like a Polish kind of thing, or is that like when you move to the States? Okay, let me ask you this. Back in Poland, if someone was to do this kind of business, would they be packing heat? Or is this because you are in Chicago or Crystal Lake? I mean, is this because now you're in the States and things are just way more accentuated down here? Or is this just a nature of a Polish person, for example?
Absolutely not a nature of a Polish person, though. I'll tell you that. No,
Yeah, no,
no.
I can speak for my dad. Pete was a business owner, and same thing, man. He had protection behind the counter as well.
Yeah. It's it's sad, that it actually kind of comes down to this, that you have to kind of protect yourself because the society is it's kind of I don't want to get into any kind of politics on a show or anything like that, but it's rough out there, and we see it every single day.
And from my personal experience, people get crazy over stupid stuff, right? I mean, like people will like steal like a 6-pack of beer that's worth $6, and then they're willing to kill somebody over it.
Yeah.
It's like it's dumb. It's just I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, well, I guess you're doing as much as you can do. There's some people that don't believe in firearms whatsoever. They still run businesses in really bad parts of town, and that part, I'm like, I don't know about that. I deal with. I'm a realist. Like I deal with reality, and it seems like you do as well. The reality of the matter is, you know, it's in Chicago, right? And Chicago's got some bad people walking around, and if you're a cash store, it's no different than any of the places that deal with check cashing or any of that kind of stuff. Those convenience stores, those are prime targets as well. So. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to operate a brick and mortar and have that kind of a business, I mean, I don't know. In a certain kind of town, that would just kind of come with it, right? Especially like Chicago, I guess.
I mean, obviously, but any major big metropolitan area, you got, we see it every day, like I said. I mean, and sometimes it's in a beautiful area too. You see things happen that you would never think, that something's gonna happen. So it's crazy out there. That's all I gotta say, and just gotta be smart about it. So.
Okay. Where are you gonna be in 5 years, man? Or what's the outlook after the daughters graduate college? Is Craigslist Hunter gonna morph into a completely different kind of hunter, or what's going on?
Um, I don't know. It's hard to answer that question. I tell you what, because there's two things that I really, really want to do. I am really tired, really, of Chicago weather. I would love to finally move somewhere else, be in a warmer climate. But on the other hand, the area that I'm located here, there's so much freaking treasure here everywhere. It's such an old town that it's hard to give up. So for now, the plan is that I would like to operate with Adrian, with my partner, by 2025 stores in my area. That's our goal right now. What happens after that? We'll see. Maybe I just unload it and go buy a boat and live in Florida, you know?
Oh, that'll be cool. I heard Austin, Texas is a terrible place to live, by the way, so don't move here. Rakin and Craigslist Hunter, don't move to my town, please.
On my way.
Let's talk about the last thing, which is tell us again how can people get in touch with you if they want to ask you questions or maybe invite you on a deal that's like local to you. How can people get a hold of the Craigslist Hunter?
Well, probably the best way is through my Facebook fan page, Craigslist Hunter. You can always message me there, and I'll try to reply to you as soon as I can. And of course, through my YouTube channel, Craigslist Hunter as well. You can private message me on there. I recently started a Snapchat.
Oh my gosh! Get out of here! Get out of here, man!
But it's kind of funny because it's totally different. And I'm gaining actually quite a few people on it but it's such a different environment that it's absolutely crazy because you got all these youngsters, right? Like between 15 years old to, I mean, cutoff is like 22, 23 years old. But remember, Facebook 10 years ago was the same way. We all got older and we all adjusted to it, and now the kids don't want to use the Facebook. It's just us old farts on it.
Well, Facebook was
I'm trying to stay up a little bit with technology. So if you want to look me up on Snapchat, you can do that too. It's Pete the Craigslist Hunter.
Pete the Craigslist Hunter. Okay, cool. And I guess that's the last question on the feed here, and it's about 9:02 here Central Time. I do want to thank you for being on the show. All right, and we stayed true to our 1 hour obligation here, engagement, whatever you want to call it. And if whenever you get to that 5th store or your big, your next chapter, we want to have you back on the show, please, because that's just going to be amazing. It's already amazing with 2 stores, man. It's amazing when you had 1 store, and I heard about you a year and a half ago, or maybe even about a year and a half ago. I know exactly where I was. I was driving on the freeway, and I was actually listening to a Global Voodoo show, and he kept mentioning you, and I was like, wow, all right. So then I looked you up, and then I subscribed, and that was it. But that's how I figured out about you. So yeah, I mean, the YouTube community is a very strong community. It's a wonderful community to be in, and hopefully we can do this again.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on. I'll more than welcome to come back on.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. Hey guys out there in the YouTube feed, thanks for watching our show. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to have a pretty cool show about mind control. And till then, we will talk to you on the next Green Room Hangout. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.